They tell you to dream big when you're a kid. They fill your head with fantasies of soaring through the skies, discovering new worlds, becoming whatever your heart desires. And you believe them, don't you? Why wouldn't you? The world is a vibrant, limitless canvas, and you're the artist. Every cartoon, every book, every well-meaning adult reinforces this idea. You're special. You're capable of anything. The future is bright, an endless expanse of exciting possibilities. Then you grow up. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the colors start to fade. The limitless canvas shrinks. The vibrant hues of childhood hopes are replaced by the dull grays of spreadsheets and responsibilities. The grand adventures become commutes and bills. And that boundless energy you once had? It's siphoned off by early mornings, late nights, and the constant hum of a world that demands more than it gives. I remember lying in bed as a kid, staring at the glow in the dark stars on my ceiling. I'd imagine myself on a spaceship, heading for Neptune, or maybe even a galaxy far, far away. The sheer excitement of it would keep me awake for hours. Now, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if I remembered to pay the electric bill, or if I have enough gas to get to work tomorrow. The only glow is from my phone, reminding me of all the emails I still need to answer. It's a strange kind of disillusionment, isn't it? It's not a sudden, dramatic fall. It's more like a slow, suffocating drift. You don't wake up one morning and realize your dreams are dead. You just wake up one morning and realize you're too tired to chase them anymore. The fire that once burned so brightly has dwindled to a flicker, and you're not even sure how to reignite it. We're sold this narrative, this perfect life. Go to school, get a good job, find a partner, buy a house, have kids, retire comfortably. Sounds so simple, so logical, so achievable. And yet, for so many of us, it feels like trying to climb a greased pole in a hurricane. Every step forward feels like 2 steps back. Every victory is fleeting, overshadowed by the next challenge, the next expectation. And the expectations, oh the expectations. From every corner, it seems. Your parents expect you to be successful. Your friends expect you to be happy. Society expects you to conform, to contribute, to be a productive member. But what if productivity feels like just treading water? What if contribution feels like just another cog in a giant, indifferent machine? There's this underlying sense of guilt too. You feel like you should be happier. You should be more grateful. You should be thriving. After all, you have a roof over your head, food on your table, maybe even a decent job. So why does it feel like something is missing? Why does it feel like you're constantly performing, putting on a brave face for a world that doesn't really care how you feel, as long as you keep showing up? The concept of adulting has become a meme, a joke we all share to cope with the absurdity of it all. But beneath the laughter, there's a real pain, a genuine confusion. We were taught to believe in fairy tales, and now we're living in an endless, mundane bureaucracy. Think about it. When you're a kid, time stretches out infinitely. Summers last forever. Birthdays are monumental events. Every day is an opportunity for discovery. As an adult, time becomes a relentless current, dragging you forward. Weeks blur into months, months into years. You blink and suddenly another decade has passed, and you're still doing the same thing, feeling the same way, wondering where all the time went. And the responsibility, oh, the crushing weight of it. It's not just about paying bills. It's about being responsible for your own happiness, your own well-being, your own future. But what if you don't even know what makes you happy anymore? What if the choices you thought would lead to fulfillment have only led to more obligations? We see our friends posting their curated, perfect lives on social media. The exotic vacations, the smiling families, the thriving careers. And a tiny, insidious voice whispers in your ear, "Why aren't you like that? What's wrong with you?" It's a toxic comparison trap, a constant reminder of what you don't have, what you haven't achieved. And it's so hard to escape because that's where everyone is, presenting their highlight reel, making you feel like you're living in the outtakes. I remember watching movies as a kid, where the hero always had a clear purpose, a grand quest. They faced challenges, yes, but there was always a light at the end of the tunnel, a definitive victory. Adult life, for many of us, feels like an endless side quest with no main story, no clear objective. You're just grinding, leveling up for what exactly? To grind some more? The idea of finding your passion is another one of those seductive lies. They tell you if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And maybe that's true for some incredibly lucky few. But for the vast majority, passion becomes another luxury, something you can only afford if you're already financially stable. For the rest of us, it's about paying the rent, keeping the lights on, and hoping you have enough energy left at the end of the day to do something, anything, that brings you a tiny spark of joy. And even that spark is often fleeting. You finally get a day off, you try to do something you enjoy, but the anxiety of the upcoming work week looms large. The phone buzzes with a work email. Your mind races with unfinished tasks. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful sunset while a storm cloud perpetually hangs over your head. The sheer loneliness of it all can be overwhelming too. As a kid, you had your friends, your family, your community. As an adult, everyone is busy, everyone has their own struggles. The spontaneous meetups become carefully scheduled appointments. The deep conversations become superficial exchanges about work and weather. And you realize, often with a pang of sadness, that the support system you once had is frayed, stretched thin by the demands of independent adult lives. We're constantly striving for some nebulous future state of happiness, aren't we? Once I get that promotion, once I buy that house, once I save enough money, we put off living, put off joy, in the hopes that some future milestone will magically unlock the fulfillment we crave. But the milestones keep moving, and the happiness remains elusive. It's like chasing a mirage in the desert, and the system itself feels rigged. The cost of living spirals ever upward, while wages stagnate. The dream of homeownership feels like a cruel joke for many. The idea of a secure retirement feels like a relic from a bygone era. We're told to work harder, smarter, to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but it feels like the bootstraps are tied to an anchor. There's a constant pressure to be on, to be engaged, to be positive, to be resilient, to constantly learn new skills, to adapt to new technologies, to keep up with the ever-accelerating pace of change. But sometimes you just want to be still. You want to breathe. You want to not have to optimize every single aspect of your life for efficiency and productivity. The digital age, while offering undeniable conveniences, has also amplified this sense of inadequacy. We are bombarded with curated perfection, with highlight reels of success and happiness, making our own struggles feel even more isolating. The constant connectivity means work can invade your personal life at any hour. The lines blur, and suddenly you're always on call, always reachable, never truly off. It's a subtle form of spiritual erosion. The bright-eyed optimism of youth slowly gets chipped away by the relentless grind, by the daily disappointments, by the feeling that you're just going through the motions. The unique individual you thought you were becomes just another data point in a vast algorithm. We crave meaning, don't we? Something beyond the transactional nature of everyday life. Something that fills the void, that gives purpose to the endless cycle of waking up, working, eating, sleeping, and repeating. But where do you find that meaning when the world seems to value profit over people, efficiency over empathy? And the advice we get, it often feels hollow. Just be positive. Manifest your dreams. Find your why. While well-intentioned, it often feels like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound. It ignores the systemic issues, the economic realities, the deep-seated anxieties that contribute to this pervasive disillusionment. Sometimes I just want to escape, to a quiet forest, to a forgotten beach, to a place where the only demands are the rhythm of nature, not the relentless ding of notifications. To just be, without having to perform, without having to achieve, without having to justify my existence. The dreams of childhood, those vibrant, audacious dreams, they don't just disappear. They linger, like ghosts in the periphery, reminding you of a time when everything felt possible. And that's what makes the disillusionment so painful. It's not just the absence of joy, it's the memory of a joy that once was, a potential that was never realized. We're told that life is what you make it. But what if you're making it and it still feels empty? What if you're putting in the effort, making the sacrifices, following the rules, and still feel like you're missing something fundamental? That's the real kicker, isn't it? The feeling that you've done everything right and still ended up here, wondering if this is all there is. The concept of freedom, too, takes on a different meaning. As a child, freedom was about being able to play, to explore, to simply exist without consequence. As an adult, freedom often feels like the ability to choose your own set of chains. You're free to choose your job, but not free from the necessity of having one. You're free to choose your lifestyle, but not free from the financial implications of that choice. And the consumer culture, it preys on this emptiness. It tells you that if you just buy this product, or wear that brand, or experience this trip, you'll find the happiness you're looking for. It offers temporary fixes, fleeting thrills, but never lasting fulfillment. It's an endless treadmill of acquisition, leaving you feeling emptier and poorer than before. The idea of self-care also gets co-opted. It becomes another chore, another thing to optimize, another item on the to-do list. It's not about genuine rest or rejuvenation, it's about maintaining enough functionality to keep going, to keep producing. A quick meditation here, a 5-minute walk there, just enough to prevent a total meltdown. We long for connection, for genuine human interaction, for a sense of belonging. But the modern world often feels designed to isolate us. We communicate through screens, we live in increasingly anonymous spaces, and the opportunities for deep, meaningful connections dwindle as everyone retreats into their own busy lives. And the future? It often feels more terrifying than exciting. The climate crisis, economic instability, political polarization. It's hard to feel optimistic when the very foundations of the world feel like they're shifting beneath your feet. The promise of a better tomorrow seems increasingly distant, replaced by the anxiety of a potentially worse one. Sometimes I look back at my childhood self, that wide-eyed kid with boundless energy and unshakable optimism, and I feel a pang of sadness. I want to tell him to hold onto that feeling, to savor every moment, because the world is going to try its best to beat it out of him. But I also know he wouldn't understand. He'd just nod, smile, and go back to dreaming of spaceships and dragons. The pressure to constantly be evolving, to be improving, to be a better version of yourself is exhausting. What if the current version of myself is good enough? What if I just want to exist for a little while without the constant need for self-optimization? This relentless pursuit of perfection only breeds more anxiety and dissatisfaction. We're living in a world that often feels devoid of magic. The sense of wonder, the curiosity, the innocent joy of discovery, they seem to get lost somewhere between adolescence and adulthood. Everything becomes quantifiable, explainable, reduced to data points and algorithms. Where's the mystery? Where's the awe? And the search for meaning, it's a desperate one for many. We try different hobbies, different spiritual paths, different communities, hoping to find that elusive sense of purpose. And sometimes we find fleeting moments of it, tiny glimpses of something larger than ourselves. But then the demands of adult life pull us back, the responsibilities weigh us down, and the search continues. The feeling of being trapped, it's a common one. Trapped by financial obligations, by career paths we no longer find fulfilling, by relationships that have grown stale. The golden handcuffs, as they say. We have enough to survive, but not enough to truly thrive, and certainly not enough to escape. And the societal expectation to always be striving, always moving forward. What if forward is just more of the same? What if the path you're on, the path you were told was the right one, is actually leading you nowhere you want to be? It's a terrifying realization, especially when you feel like you've invested so much, sacrificed so much to get where you are. The loss of innocence is a quiet tragedy. It's not a dramatic moment, but a gradual erosion of belief, a slow acceptance of the harsh realities of the world. The fairy tales are replaced by statistics, the heroes by politicians, and the magic by mundane tasks. And the pervasive feeling that you're just a cog in a machine, easily replaceable. Your individuality, your unique talents, your dreams, they all seem to matter less than your ability to perform a specific function within a larger system. It's dehumanizing, in a way, to be reduced to your output. The constant noise of the modern world. The news cycles, the social media feeds, the endless notifications. It's hard to hear your own thoughts, to connect with your own inner voice when you're constantly bombarded by external stimuli. It's a mental exhaustion that can be hard to escape. And the dreams that linger, those flashes of what could have been. They are both a source of inspiration and a reminder of the chasm between expectation and reality. They whisper of paths not taken, of lives not lived, and it's a bittersweet symphony of what if. The pressure to conform, to fit in, to be normal. It's insidious. From the way you dress, to the car you drive, to the kind of life you lead, there's an unspoken pressure to adhere to societal norms. And deviation often comes with judgment, with exclusion. It's a subtle way of eroding your individuality. And the exhaustion, the deep, bone-weary exhaustion that seeps into your very soul. It's not just physical tiredness, it's a mental and emotional fatigue that makes even the simplest tasks feel monumental. It's the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix because it's rooted in a deeper dissatisfaction. The search for purpose, it's a lifelong journey, they say. But what if the map they gave you is flawed? What if the destination they pointed you towards is not where you want to go? And what if, in the pursuit of that predetermined destination, you've lost sight of your own true north? And the fear of failure, it paralyzes so many of us. The fear of not living up to expectations, of not achieving enough, of being left behind. It drives us to continue on paths we don't enjoy, to tolerate situations that drain us, all in the desperate hope of avoiding that dreaded label of failure. The quiet desperation of wanting more, of knowing there must be more, but not knowing how to get it. It's a heavy burden to carry, this unspoken longing for something different, something fulfilling, something that truly resonates with the person you are, or the person you once hoped to be. And the realization that the adults you once looked up to, the ones who seemed to have all the answers, were just as lost, just as confused, just as disillusioned as you are. It's a sobering thought, a breaking of the illusion that there's some secret handbook to adult life that everyone else has and you just missed. The pervasive sense of loneliness, even when surrounded by people. It's the feeling of being fundamentally misunderstood, of having a unique struggle that no one else truly comprehends. It's the isolation that comes from putting on a brave face, from pretending everything is fine when inside you're crumbling. And the struggle to maintain hope, to keep believing that things can get better, that change is possible. It's a daily battle against the cynicism and apathy that threaten to engulf you. It's about finding tiny pockets of joy, small moments of connection, and holding onto them like precious lifelines. The question of whether this is it, whether this is all there is. It's a nagging whisper in the back of your mind, a terrifying thought that can be hard to shake. And the fear that the answer might be yes, that this mundane, unfulfilling existence is your lot in life. And the quiet rebellion that stirs within. The urge to break free, to defy expectations, to forge your own path, even if it's terrifying and uncertain. It's the flicker of that childhood spirit, that yearning for adventure that refuses to be completely extinguished. It's the tiny spark that still believes in the possibility of something more. The pressure to be happy, to always be smiling, to present a perfect image to the world. It's exhausting. It means you can't be authentic, you can't be vulnerable, you can't truly express the depths of your disillusionment without being judged or told to just cheer up. And the constant feeling of being judged by society, by your peers, even by yourself. Am I doing enough? Am I successful enough? Am I happy enough? These questions plague us, creating a self-inflicted pressure cooker that adds to the existing burdens of adult life. The loss of spontaneity, the feeling that every moment is scheduled, every interaction planned. The carefree days of simply existing, of letting the wind carry you where it may, are replaced by a rigid structure that leaves little room for impulse or whimsy. And the longing for a simpler time, a time before the weight of responsibility, before the endless anxieties, before the realization that the world is a far more complicated and often cruel place than you ever imagined. It's a nostalgia for an innocence that can never be fully recaptured. The feeling of being on a hamster wheel, running faster and faster, but never actually getting anywhere. The relentless pace of modern life, the constant need to achieve, to produce, to consume, leaves little room for reflection or genuine connection. And the erosion of wonder, the gradual fading of that childlike awe at the world's mysteries. Everything becomes mundane, predictable, explained away by science or economics. The magic seems to drain out of the everyday, leaving behind a dull and repetitive landscape. The burden of knowledge, the realization that the world is broken in so many ways and that you are powerless to fix most of them. The awareness of suffering, injustice, and environmental degradation can be overwhelming, adding another layer to the existing disillusionment. And the feeling that you're just going through the motions, performing the role of an adult without truly feeling like one. The imposter syndrome of adulthood, where you're constantly waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, break's over, back to being a kid. The quiet sadness that settles in your bones, a constant companion that whispers of missed opportunities, unfulfilled dreams, and the quiet despair of a life lived by default rather than by design. And the struggle to find joy in the small things when the big picture feels so bleak. It's about consciously seeking out those fleeting moments of beauty, of laughter, of connection, and clinging to them as anchors in a turbulent sea. The feeling of being lost, of not knowing your place in the world, of not understanding your purpose. It's a profound existential crisis that many adults grapple with, a search for meaning in a world that often feels meaningless. And the fear of regret, the haunting possibility that years from now you'll look back and realize you squandered your potential, that you settled for less than you deserved, that you didn't truly live. The burden of choice, the seemingly endless array of decisions that need to be made, each with its own set of consequences. It's overwhelming and often leads to a sense of paralysis, a fear of making the wrong move. And the erosion of personal freedom, the feeling that your life is not truly your own, but dictated by financial obligations, societal pressures, and the demands of a system that cares little for your individual desires. The constant background noise of anxiety, a low hum of worry about the future, about finances, about relationships, about everything and nothing all at once. It's a pervasive unease that makes true peace feel elusive. And the feeling of being alone in your disillusionment, the assumption that everyone else has it figured out, that you're the only one struggling. It's an isolating experience that makes it difficult to reach out for help or connection. The exhaustion of constantly performing, of putting on a brave face, of pretending that everything is okay when it's anything but. It's a draining charade that leaves you feeling empty and inauthentic. And the quiet longing for a simpler life, a life free from the relentless demands of the modern world, a life where basic needs are met and there's space for genuine connection and meaning. The realization that time is a finite resource and that you're spending so much of it doing things you don't enjoy for reasons you no longer understand. It's a stark reminder of the preciousness of life and the urgency of finding fulfillment. And the fear of never truly living, of just existing, of reaching the end of your days with a heart full of regrets and a mind full of unfulfilled dreams. The pressure to constantly be productive, to justify your existence through your output. It's a capitalist trap that reduces human worth to economic value, leaving little room for intrinsic value or simply being. And the sense of injustice, the feeling that the game is rigged, that the system is stacked against you, that no matter how hard you work, you'll never truly get ahead. It's a corrosive feeling that saps motivation and breeds resentment. The pervasive feeling of being overwhelmed by information, by responsibilities, by the sheer complexity of modern life. It's a constant mental battle to stay afloat in a sea of demands. And the longing for authenticity, for genuine connection, for a life that feels true to yourself rather than a performance for others. It's a deep-seated desire to strip away the pretense and simply be. The quiet despair of watching your dreams fade, one by one, replaced by the grim realities of adulthood. It's a gradual process of letting go, often without even realizing it's happening. And the search for meaning in the mundane, the attempt to infuse everyday tasks with purpose, to find beauty in the ordinary when the grand narratives of childhood have crumbled. The weight of expectations, both self-imposed and externally projected, that press down on you, shaping your choices and limiting your freedom. It's a heavy burden to carry, constantly trying to live up to someone else's idea of who you should be. And the feeling of being stuck in a job, in a relationship, in a life that no longer serves you, but from which you see no clear escape. It's a suffocating sensation that breeds hopelessness. The pervasive sense of loneliness, even in a crowded room, the feeling of being fundamentally disconnected from others, of being unable to truly share your deepest struggles. And the quiet rebellion that stirs within, a defiance against the narrative of resignation, a flicker of hope that there's still a path to something more, something authentic, something fulfilling. It's the refusal to completely give up on the dreams that once burned so brightly.